So it's JB Cycle with a quick update on November the 3rd. Here I have my cycle charts, and I want to talk about the 4-week cycle today. It's up here, and I have included both the old cycle and the new cycle, because the old cycle in red worked for several years into May this year, when we started to see some disturbance in the cycle. We got this lower low here. I was questioning, are we seeing a sabotaged cycle and a capitulation here? No, and then we popped up, and then we made a high at the cycle low, and then we went down and made a low at the cycle high. So out here I was saying something is odd here, something is going on, and then I realized that the cycle had changed into this new blue cycle, and that happens from time to time. The cycle can change and then stay fixed in this new formation for another couple of years, but sometimes it switches back after a short while. Anyway, we saw this cycle in blue here work perfectly. It showed us the low here. You can hardly see this low, but it was a cycle low, and we had a cycle low there, and we had a cycle low here, and then we have a repetition kind of what happened in May here, because we had this low, a sabotage, a weakness in the bullish phase. So I was looking for maybe a capitulation in the bearish phase, but then we inverted and rallied. So we have to question now, is this new blue 4-week cycle still working? If so, we are now dropping in the bullish phase. It's time still for a pop up to make a shoulder or something before we then capitulate into end of November. But maybe we have, just as the cycle changed here, it may have changed back now. So if we look at the red cycle here, we see this low was a bit early, but within what's normal, and this high was around the cycle high. So we have to see if we continue down, should we look for a low in the middle of November, or will we get it more like the end of November? And anyway, as we see that my 10-week cycle and 20-week cycle, they have lows around early December. But if we look back, we often have seen late lows in this 10-week cycle. If that was to repeat, we would have a low mid-December, and that corresponds with the low of this old cycle. And from the seasonal cycle or seasonal tendency, we often have a low around 15th of December. So if we have switched back to this old cycle, we could make a low in the middle of November, and well, let's draw that. That would look like, so we are going down, probably not straight down, and then some kind of a bounce, and then down into mid-December. That's definitely a possible scenario. So when the cycle is not working, then we have to step aside and wait and see kind of is the cycle still working, or has it changed? I could also mention, when looking at the solar wind cycle, it showed some change in behavior around this period. So that was kind of explaining why this cycle changed. Now, however, I have not seen a change in the solar wind, but this is a mystery to me, how this cycle works. I don't know what factors of the cycle, what is causing this, and am I looking at the correct parameters? I don't know. So Let's not focus too much on that. Just look at price action, and we have to see if the old or the new cycle works. We should also have a look at some offsets. Here I have some moving averages and offsets, and the critical point here is this 21-month offset. Breaking below that would generate a large downside. If as we see, we broke it, but then we regained this offset, and now we are breaking down again. So if we are to continue down here, we would get kind of a downside target around below 3,000. And that's it looks like that's what we're about to do now, but we have to get some confirmations. We have to break this 42-month average, and we should make a lower low. So I was fearing, I had this fear that we are going to get up in this pain area here, because I'm bearish. I want to be right about my assumptions and my scenarios. I have pride in this, so I was a bit uncomfortable about this strong rally, and if we were to get up in this pain area, anything could happen. So I was hoping, as the historical analogs showed, we should not have much more upside here, and we should quickly turn down, as we have done so far. So I'm hoping we will avoid this pain area for the bears, and so the scenario that should be playing out here is, we have this large ABC. That's the large formation, and we are in this C move down, A, B, C, and this C move should also have an ABC shape, and it should be something like this. That means we have not finished this A. Or excuse me, I get mixed up with all these letters. So something like this. We are there, and this is part of kind of this. The prices here are not correct anymore here now, and we have this. Well, that got very messy. Anyway, what I'm expecting here, if this turns out right, I'm expecting this is one leg, and we have a bounce, and that's the capitulation phase, and it could also have an ABC pattern, and we have a possibility of some kind of, call it, bottom formation here. I don't think that will be a capitulation phase, but more a bottom phase. So that would be my main scenario. So, see ya.